So once you've primed, put your foundation on. I'm going to mix two different colors because my color is a little wonky. Take your dampened blender and just start until you get it all nice and covered, but without looking like a cake face. Now I see halfway the difference. Now I'm going to go in with my contour stick. I don't get the darkest one. I get one that's about a medium brown color. My nose is huge, so to try to minimize the look of my nose, like that. And then I'll go in with, this one's ivory, so it's lighter than my actual skin by just a little. I'll put some there, and there, and there, and there, and there. And then you go back in with your beauty blender and just start blending away. This part takes a little bit. Once I have all of that blended in as much as I can, translucent powder with its own sponge. I like this one because it's angled just right to be able to just across my cheekbones. Right down that little line on my nose. And right here along my jaw. Put a little bit more of the concealer on my eyes just to give a nice base for my eyeshadow. Just kind of, you can use the beauty blender if you want. I do sometimes. Sometimes I just do that. Different brushes do different things. Flatter brushes like this one and like this one, they're for packing in eyeshadow. Fluffier like this and like this one, those are for blending. This, very flat, very straight. I'll use it for like eyebrows or a little bit of contour on my nose or like my under eye right here. I'll use a semi-rounded, semi-fluffy kind of flat brush for packing, just to put the base on. And I'm just going to use this nice base of light tan and a little darker, just to start a nice neutral base. This is always a nice color palette to have, some neutrals, just so you can get that nice neutral base every so often. And then the fun starts. You pick a color, you work lightest to darkest. You want to have your darker, smokier colors out here. So I'm going to do more of a neutral tone today. Since I've already put that base tone on, I'm going to go in right here a little bit darker. You can tell a good difference in the tone. Work it out right there to about the round of my eye and on the edge. And then you'll come in with your blender and kind of little circles, smooth out that line some. See the difference, how it's starting to blend out. You can use a little bit of that neutral color, that beginning color, just to kind of soften that line. See the difference? Then you can take a rounded like this, go in with a darker color. I'll usually use black, but not super dark, and just create slight shadowing. Use my finger sometimes. And just like that. Then you'll go into the other side, do the same thing. Small circle motions so it blends it as it goes, so you don't end up with some harsh line. And again, we'll come in with our finger and just kind of, like you're itching your eye almost. Like that. Once you're here, you go back with your little blender and you just kind of soften that hard line at the top. Like that. Find your eyeliner, whichever one you want to use. If you're like me and you have a million, you know, you just pick one. I like liquid. It's easier for me. If pencil's easier for you, you can use pencil. Just with pencil, you'll have to like pull your eyelid a little tight so you can go across with the pencil. Just start right here. Very thin line. And honestly, pencil will probably work best for your eyes because they are so small. And just go across one thin line. You don't need a big honkin', you know, I do mine big normally because that's just my style. Gotta keep a steady hand. This takes practice. My eyeliner used to be all over the place. For your brows, you find a color. You have a brow pen, so that's perfectly fine. I use eyeshadow. So I'm going to put black on this very squared flat brush. And I'm going to go in and just slightly straighten out the top and the bottom. I don't go in and draw it super perfect. I have my slit, so then I come in right there and finish out my eyebrow. Then I'll take a different brush because I have the red eyebrow, whereas you have the one color and you don't have to worry about that. And I take some red eyeshadow and do the same thing on my red eyebrow, except for I have two slits here, so I do one there, and then I have to draw on the other little tail because it stopped growing back in high school. All the days of shaving our eyebrows off. And ta-da! And this is what I was saying. These eyelashes are about 2 months old, and I just keep them in my little container. This whole pack cost me, I want to say like $5 or $6, maybe $8, depending on if it was Walmart or Dollar General. Pick which ones you want to wear. The glue I use is by Duo. It's black, so it matches the eyeliner and it doesn't dry any kind of weirdness. And instead of it being a squeeze tube, it's a little wand. So you'll take your little wand and the eyelash you're about to put on, and you just put it across the back of the eyelash. Not a whole lot, just enough that you can see that it's wet. Because if you have too much and it's too wet, it won't stick to your eyes right away because, well, it won't be dry fast enough. Too little, it won't work. Sometimes I'll go back and dip it again and just very lightly touch where I put the eyeliner. Touch up anywhere on here. You give it just a few seconds. Go a little bit because you want it slightly tacky. And this part takes some training and some practice, but you just line it up to your eyeliner, pressing in slightly, and eyelash. This glue is like $2 and it lasts forever. And again, start in the center, connect it, make sure it's going to connect all the way across, and attach. That one's a little off, so I'll move it over before it dries. I always have a hard time with my left side just because of being right-handed and all. But then you can go in with your mascara, whichever one you choose. This one's really good. It's called Snapscara by Maybelline. It washes off really quickly, really easily. This one is a 4D fiber because, as you see, I have no little lashes down there, so I got to build them. Whew. You can always go like this. If your real lashes are not right up underneath the fake ones, you kind of push them onto it. See how much more my eyes are open now? Once all of that is done, take a big fluffy brush and just kind of dust away all that extra powder. Gives you a slight highlight. You're going to take your bronzer. You have a cute one. I have this dollar store palette from DD's discounts. Go in with your bronzer. I use this one, obviously. It goes right where you put that contour stick, but very lightly. You don't need to like jam it into your face. Just very lightly, adding a tone of like you've seen the sun, because I don't go outside. A little bit down here for the shadow. This is when I still do like back in the day. Just make sure it's nice and blended so I don't have any kind of creases or lines or anything. Then I'll go in with either a brush like this, kind of fluffy, kind of flat, or one like this. It's very flat at the tip, but very fluffy. And I'll find my blush, which I don't use blush, I use hot pink eyeshadow. But if you just tap it lightly, little light circle motions, makes a really cute blush. You want to put it up here on the back side of your cheekbone to about the middle. You don't need blush up in here, you need blush right here. Okay. A little bit back there too on this one. I always put a little bit on my nose, just because. And then you can take your highlighter, which I don't know if I have highlighter anymore. I broke my last one. So for the sake of what we're doing, I'll use a little of this pink sparkle that I have. It'll just put a little bit of sparkle like a highlighter. Go gold. Okay. A little bit on the tip of the nose. Highlighter always goes to the nose. Right there. And you put just a little bit right there. Then you'll pick your lipstick, whichever color you feel like doing. This one's one of my favorites, but I'm almost out. So we're gonna go with this NYX Lingerie. Dollar store, couple bucks. I think it was like $2. Get my lip rings out of the way. You don't gotta deal with this part, but then you just go and do your lips real lightly. Follow the natural line of your lips. I round out my Cupid's bow. And you're done.